meeting, which has about 15,000 people attending, will be held in San Diego. In 2011, January 2011. We're actually going somewhere warm during the winter. It's a miracle. But
I might have to attend that.
Yeah, you should attend. I mean, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump away. But you know what I think is interesting is that over maybe the last 6 or 7 years, the representation of publishers who produce comics and graphic novels has greatly increased, and there's actually now a comic and graphic novel pavilion in the exhibit hall. And so there's an entire section. Dark Horse is there. I don't know if Marvel comes. Tokyo Pop comes. And so you see that interest from the library side as well in comics and graphic novels.
Libraries have become a very important market for graphic novel publishers to reach out to. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. No publisher of any repute lacks a plan to market to libraries or to find their way into libraries. It's incredibly important. Mm-hmm. It's incredibly important for anybody who's legit. They want to get their books into libraries. It's a primary need.
That's great. And even here at Arizona State University Library, a research library, we have a pretty robust collection of comics and graphic novels, and I know that Marc has been involved in the collection development in that.
I have. I've been fortunate to work with a couple of librarians on that. I've also, in running a website, I get sent many items to review, and I have a personal collection of about 2,000 graphic novels.
Wow.
And as you might imagine, I'm wildly out of space. So what I have done is try to put some energy into enhancing the collection here at ASU.
Fantastic.
And donated a number of books here to the university.
So will we someday have the Marc Mason comics and graphic novels collection at Arizona State University?
That has actually entered my mind.
That would be pretty cool.
And I have given thought to creating a special collection like that.
I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so my last question for you is about multiculturalism, because this class is called Children's and Young Adult Literature in a Multicultural Society. So it's a survey course focusing on lots and lots of different types of kid lit, but also, you know, what does it mean to have comics and graphic novels in terms of multiculturalism? Do comics and graphic novels open up a space for authors to write about characters that are diverse?
They very much do. In fact, some of the best graphic novels in the past few years have covered some ground. I think the other thing to know about comics in that way is that the creators of comics are a very multicultural and diverse group. The first one that came to mind there is a gentleman named Gene Yang, and he wrote a very successful book a couple of years ago, wrote and drew, called American Born Chinese. Which
won the Michael Prince Award from YALSA, the Young Adult Library Services Association. It was the first graphic novel ever to win such a high honor from librarians. Yeah. Fabulous book. I know that some students in the class have already read it.
His work, highly recommended.
Fabulous.
Highly recommended. His other works all feature Asian American leads. And you'll find artists and authors who are multicultural and bringing their experience to the comics and graphic novels world. It's incredibly important for kids and young readers to read stories about people who are like them.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, superheroes are not always the way. Marvel and DC in particular can be very, very lily white in that respect. Other publishers like Dark Horse or Image or NBM or the manga publishers, who the characters are not always Asian, even if they're in a manga or a manhwa, are different.
So we want to kind of, when we're doing collection development around this stuff, don't just stick with the mainstream publishers.
No, it's...
You've got to go to some of the smaller houses as well.
It is very important that you keep a broad and open mind in building a collection. Marvel and DC are fantastic for the superheroes, but that's not all there is.
Yeah.
That's not all there is. Yeah. There's a gentleman named Joe Sacco who basically spends most of his life traveling around war zones, and he's written a number of books on and drawn a number of graphic novels on Palestine and Gaza, he did some work in the Bosnian conflict.
Wow.
Again, getting another piece of the world, Eastern Europeans are out there too. So I know that there have been publishers, there are smaller publishers that produce all work by African Americans, and some of that is filtered back into the major publishers.
Good.
But you really want to look at the smaller publishers or the indie publishers and get a better idea of what's available out there and the multicultural aspects of comics and graphic novels.
Fantastic. I think this example that you showed today, the photographer, absolutely fits into a way to either open our eyes to the world or to be a mirror, reflecting upon ourselves. And I think those are the two things that we need to keep in mind when we're collecting for kids, when we're building collections of any type for kids. That is it opening a window to a world, to a different culture, or can they see themselves in that culture? And so those are two things to keep in mind, and I think you can absolutely build a collection that creates both of those spaces for kids.
Absolutely, 100% agree with you. Yeah.
Cool. All right, Mark, well, I'd like to thank you so much for sharing your passion and your expertise with the class. And we look forward to reading your work on comicswaitingroom.com, and hope you have a great time at Comic-Con. When is it?
It's July 21st
Okay.
through the 25th this year.
Cool. All right. Well, these students are going to see this video the 12th of July. So you won't have gone yet, but you have a great Comic-Con. And all right. Thanks.
Thanks much. Pleasure
all
to
right.
be here. Thank you.
Thanks.
Good luck, everybody.